My Little Pony: Friendship is Magic was a fantastic show. Ran for 9 seasons and 9 years and developed a large but very weird fanbase who seems to not be able to let go of the show even to this day. I grew up with MLP. It was a great show and still holds up today. Sure, it falls off a bit in the final few seasons, but it's a generally fantastic show and deserves all the love it gets. But there was another show on the hub that I began tuning in to watch alongside MLP. Anyone remember Littlest Pet Shop 2012 show specifically? It was a show that, similarly to MLP, was made to sell toys. I don't remember this myself because, unlike my sisters, I was never into Littlest Pet Shop toy sets, but people apparently hated the redesigns of the toy sets so much that they started sending angry letters to Hasbro demanding they revert it. Very funny to think about, until you realize that the Gen 3 toys outrage is probably why the show was cut short. Old school fans never gave the show a chance, which is a shame. And according to people who were on the internet when the show ran, it got a lot of hate from older gen fans. And a lot of them didn't even watch it. Its hate was purely by association, which I find ridiculous. Decline in toy sales is actually what caused the show to be cancelled prematurely in 2016, while My Little Pony was being greenlit for its 6th season. Littlest Pet Shop ran for 4 years with 4 seasons, which is admittedly solid, but not good enough for young me apparently, because oh my, I was pissed. And although I had no grudge against My Little Pony, I'm sure a lot of other LPS kids did, and I'm not gonna blame you guys.
Skibbity Sigmas!
Even as a kid though, I never held anything against My Little Pony, because somehow I just knew that it wasn't MLP's fault LPS got cancelled. It was technically the fans' fault, but I don't think it's fair to blame them, as Hasbro genuinely just made a bad call. So yeah, Hasbro's fumble and fan outrage had a hand in killing a genuinely fantastic show prematurely. That's genuinely next level unfortunate. You see, people always said that the reason the show got cancelled was because it was stuck in My Little Pony's shadow, but that's not actually true. The show was doing well, the ratings were good, the fandom was booming. It was the toy sales that killed the show. The show itself did nothing wrong. It got cancelled purely by association. And although the rabid, annoying, insufferable, whining, blasted, apple-headed, reprehensible haters should take a lot of the blame, I'm still mad how Hasbro kinda just stopped caring about the show's existence the moment it ended and even replaced it with... I'll get to that later. The Owl House fans rightfully are mad by how dirty their show was done, and I cannot blame anyone. Hell, even I complain about it from time to time. But at least they aren't pretending the show doesn't exist. Ironically, they do that with Haley's on It, and as someone who watched the show, I can kinda see why. LPS 2012 had its 10th anniversary on November 10th of 2022, and what did Hasbro do to acknowledge that? Nothing. Not even a mention. What's worse is that they didn't even say a thing when Michael Hospa unfortunately passed in mid to late 2022. He voiced Blythe's father, Roger Baxter, and did a stunning job, by the way. No one, and I mean no one, could pull off the charismatic, silly, but also caring and occasionally firm voice for Roger like he did. I loved lots of his other roles as well. May he rest in peace. My point is that Hasbro didn't just cancel the show prematurely because the writers did have more in store, but they also tried to act like the show never happened at all, just to appease the new gen toy haters. But what I don't get is why the show had to take the fall just because of the fault in the toys. Yeah, association I guess, but is that really a valid reason? It's what makes me mad about this whole situation. As someone who couldn't care less about the toys when I was a kid, I just liked the show. So seeing a show that was doing well, taking a hit for seemingly no reason in my child eyes really built up spite inside me. I mean, the show had the potential to build up a huge fandom. It could have had full run with a whole bunch of people supporting it. But unfortunately, that timeline isn't here. And it's a shame because although I can't blame people for boycotting the Gen 3 toys, I never cared about the toy sets. Unlike with My Little Pony and Transformers, I only cared about the show. Y'all will never understand how much I loved this show. I liked it even more than My Little Pony and every other show on the hub. I mean, it's kind of a shame that a genuinely solid show got cut short because of the toy line, but it's what it is, I guess. I calmed down a bit until they released a new LPS show, A World of Our Own. Man, I hated this show. I still watched it because it aired before Alvin and the Chipmunks on Pop, and I like to be early. Plus, I always like to watch before I judge, but boy, words cannot describe how much I despise this show, and parts of it was because of the 2012 show. I mean, even as a kid, I always felt the show was some sort of jab at the 2012 show, on account of their being so hellbent on the ditching the human side of the show, which is literally half of what made the 2012 show so special. On top of that, the title of the show, Littlest Pet Shop, didn't even make sense because a pet shop wasn't even a location of importance. It was just a weird animal world.
The pet gets access to parts
I actually remember myself enjoying this show when I first watched it on Pop, but then when I watched it independently, I realized I only liked it because it made a good seat warmer for Alvin and the Chipmunks, the show I actually tuned in to watch. The story was just such a gargantuan downgrade from the 2012 show, and although I admittedly really liked Quincy, he was literally just Sunil. Edie was literally just Zoe, Trip was literally just Finny, and Bev was literally just Pepper, with less substance. Hilariously enough, unlike the 2012 show, AOO, nice acronym, that's the one compliment I'll give, did terribly. This show got cancelled after a single season and barely anyone ever talks about it. So, good riddance, genuinely. The first prematurely cancelled show whose grave I danced on. And I was 13.
Do you hear yourself talk? I might kill you tonight.
Anyways, I'm less mad about LPS being cancelled and more mad about how people don't seem to remember it at all, because for what it's worth, it's a good show. A great show even. Last time I rewatched this show was 2.5 years ago. Also the first time I watched it since it ended in 2016. So for the sake of this video, I watched the 2-part premiere and 6 other episodes of season 1 to see if this show still holds up today or if I'm just beautifully delusionally biased. Basically, the show was about a girl named Blythe Baxter, who interestingly enough was based off popular dolls, who were notorious for having large heads. The show pokes fun at this quite a bit. This actually always frustrated me as a child, because Blythe's head is the same size as every other character her age, but it makes sense knowing what I know now.
Something that I said. Did I joke too much about her giant head?
Anyways, basically Blythe moves into a pet shop with her father and she learns she has the ability to talk to animals, so she ends up befriending the 7 pets of the day camp area. The show follows Blythe as she progresses in her career as a fashion designer, and the pets just do their own thing. I really like how, despite this show having less to do than MLP, they still manage to keep things interesting as far as plot progression goes. Season 3 does a great job in making Blythe's best friend Young Me more plot relevant, and Season 4, despite being weaker in a lot of areas, really nicely dives into lore regarding Blythe's mother, in spite of the resolution on that front being wildly cliché. It also interestingly sets up potential for a redemption arc for the Biscuit twins, who, despite being generally iconic as all hell, were a real Team Rocket and them really ranging in quality as time went on. I was starting to get a little bit sick of them by season 3. Blythe's father Roger also gets his fair share of relevance in the 4th season.
Oh yeah girl, I went there. Snap, snap, snap.
Blythe was a fun character. Marinette Dupan Cheng, take notes. Significantly worse fashion design in Teen Girl and significantly worse show with a significantly larger fan base. The absolute best thing about Blythe is how they are so beautifully consistent with her fashion design and aspirations. She has a different outfit in every episode. The show has 104 episodes and I'm pretty sure Blythe is in every single one. Sure, there's a fair share of overlap, but it's still impressive. Blythe and Mabel Pines both inflicted a good feeling in me because I just love it when characters change outfits regularly. I was genuinely mesmerized by the idea because of how rare it seems to be in cartoons. I also like how it was only really Blythe who changed outfits. One reason cartoon characters don't change outfits much is because it's easier for characters to have signature looks if they have signature outfits. That's not a fact, I just made that up. Anyway, they commit so nicely into the fashion designer thing, and sorry to tear into Marinette again, but these two really are similar. Blythe has such good consistency in what she is and isn't good at, unlike Marinette, who seems to just be good at whatever the plot wants her to be good at. I especially love the episode Bad Hair Day for this reason. Shows us that although she's a great fashion designer, she's a terrible stylist. She ends up mutilating Zoe's fur, and it's overall a really funny episode. Blythe kinda acts like a maternal figure to the pets, usually being the one they answer to and the one who teaches them lessons, which is cute and I adore that. But aside from that, she also goes through struggles of her own and has her own flaws. They did this thing particularly in early episodes, where she learned a lesson that correlates to what the pets are dealing with and help them solve their problems. Best part though is how they often had Blythe and the pets teach each other. You see, the show has an A-plot, B-plot structure, which may have a hand in why I like the show more than MLP. I can name about 20 bad MLP episodes that would benefit heavily from B-plots. Anyway, in this show, the A-plot usually focuses on Blythe either hanging with her friends, father, or one or a group of the pets, while the B-plot would focus on the pets. One thing I always liked is how there was occasionally a day camp visitor who'd shake up the dynamic. If I remember correctly, there was even some that showed up more than once. Once you step into reality, you'll kind of realize how little sense this show makes sometimes. I mean, an alligator in a day camp with the rest of these animals is just a damned lawsuit waiting to happen. Anyways, let's get into more of the characters before I get carried away. The day camp pets were kind of the main attraction, and for good reason. Their group dynamic is really fun, and their personalities are also really diverse. Also, with 8 main characters, there are a ton of pairings you can explore, so you're never really stuck for things to do. Russell was kind of the main guy of the Pets gang, and it makes sense considering his whole thing is organization and order. And you know what? I'm only making this connection now, but Russell's kind of similar to Twilight Sparkle, so now I kind of get it. One thing I like about Russell though is that the pets kind of disrespect him at times, but not to the point that it's mean-spirited. Not to take another jab at Miraculous or anything, but I hate it when everyone is just a yes man to the leader, even when their character doesn't fit it. Russell's cautiousness plays into his being a hedgehog too, which is a trend you'll see with a lot of the pets. Another thing I love is that he's just so adorable sometimes. In one of the episodes I watched, he has this entire Star Trek parody moment where he pretends that he's in a spaceship when he's actually in a truck. It's also just funny to think that this literal pet's hedgehog is acting like an adult man working a 9 to 5.
Why so serious all the time?
Zoe is the diva of the group. She was my sister's favorite character when we were kids, and for good reason. I think one thing that really made her differ from other characters like her is how much they play with the fact that she's a dog. The idea of someone who considers herself the picture of high society, acting like a ruffian by pure instinct is just flawless juxtaposition. This has a hand in making her one of the most endearing and entertaining characters in the show because she can 180 from being incredibly serious to super goofy without it feeling out of character. Pepper is interesting. Basically, her whole thing is that she's a comedian skunk. I feel like her entire shtick gets relatively repetitive at times, but at the same time it really is amusing when it lands. I like how she's a bit of a jerk. I feel like that's needed in shows like this. As I mentioned before, I don't want to watch my main characters just be nice and supportive to each other all the time. That's just not realistic. The episode Penny for Your Laughs has a sequence where Pepper brutally insults everyone for laughs, and to this day, some of these actually crack me up immensely.
I've seen faces like his before, but I had to pay admission to the zoo. If you stand real close to Zoe's head, you can hear the ocean. Vinny, your brain must feel as good as new, since you never use it. Sunil, you're so boring. Sheep count you. Ha ha ha. Minka, I'd like to help you out. Which way did you come in? Talent isn't everything. Back in your case, it's nothing.
Her entire sense shenanigans is something that they make interesting too. It obviously goes against skunk biology, but literally who cares? I mean, have you seen how inconsistent Russell's spines are in this show? Vinny's the only main character to never willingly fall in love with a character of the opposite gender. Let that sink in. He's a character I never liked as a kid, but he's grown on me because he's probably the most consistently funny character in the show. Aside from visual stuff, Vinny being a gecko is something that doesn't come into play all that often, which is kind of weird. I like the episode Frenemies because of that. It's actually what taught me that there are reptiles that lose and regrow their tails. Well, actually Oscar's Oasis taught me, this reminded me. Vinny's whole thing is that he's a dancer who trips all the time because of his tail. Dedicates to the craft he's generally not good at. He's also kind of an idiot, which is funny too. I feel like in a show that prides itself on its heart, a character who gets jabbed at for not being intelligent shouldn't work. But it does. Perhaps maybe too well.
Hey! I might not be the smartest guy! That's all I wanted to say.
Minka is kind of like Pinkie Pie in a way, which makes me wonder why she isn't my favorite. I love Pinkie Pie. Minka embodies the monkey stereotype. Crazy and hyperactive, but what makes her interesting is that she's also an artist whose art is considered a masterpiece. I think it's really interesting to make the hyperactive character be the one to be a great artist. Minka is usually more fun when she's in a supportive role, but she has some really great focus episodes. Bad Hair Day, for example, has all the other pets take advantage of her when they initially realize her art could potentially make her rich, which is too real, man.
I like that, but what does that have to do with her art?
Got nothing to do with it.
It has to do with us becoming rich and famous!
I haven't counted, but I'm pretty sure Minka has the least screen time of the main 8, which is something to think about. Sunil is my favorite character by far, mainly because he kind of feels like the most three-dimensional of the 7 pets. It's crazy to say that one of the best Indian characters of the 2010s is a blue talking mongoose. Sure, they do lean into the parents wanting him to be a doctor angle, which is funny considering he's a literal animal. Mongoose is such an exotic pick and a bold one that I respect. I had no idea this animal existed when I was a kid. Anyways, Sunil's whole thing is that he's kind of a cautious coward, but in a different way than Russell. Russell's a stick in the mud, while Sunil is just a coward. But they give him this kind of badass reverse kryptonite in cobras. In case you weren't wondering, this reflects well in real life, as cobras are natural prey to mongoose. I just really like how it's played out here. Aside from all that, Sunil's also a magician and a psychic, and often winds up being the cast scapegoat.
Yes, even I will help. Although I can't say that anyone's ever done the same for me.
Finally, we have Penny Ling, and although she's lovely, she's definitely the least interesting to me. Making the panda character cute but deadly is expected, but my problem with Penny Ling is that cute but deadly is all she really has going for her at times, if you get me. Also, having your cuteness be a selling point in a show where, once you get past the eyes, is full of cute characters, is kind of hard to look past. There's the whole ribbon dancing aspect that's frankly pretty underutilized in the grand scheme of things. I feel like her dancing was forgotten after season 2, which is a shame because I loved her and Vinny's antics in Eve of Destruction. There are definitely times where a character really shines though, like the episode Shanghai Hijinks, where she goes to China to meet her relatives. There are other supporting characters, such as Young Mi or Buttercream, who manages to not wear out a gimmick that should really be more annoying than it is, but I won't get into them. I will say though, the Biscuit twins are iconic and I love them, though I will be forever mad that Whitney is the one with dark hair and not the one with white hair. Like, that always confused me as a kid. Anyway, I've always liked it when mean girl characters just kind of own the stereotype when the writers know they are not destined for death, and the Biscuit twins are a great example of that. I also like how they have the Valley Girl accents, but instead of being loud blondes, they're brash alt girls instead, which I find cool. They're the 2 most iconic characters in the show, and it's not even close.
Like, stop right there! You can't get away with arms robbery, Blythe!
I never mentioned this before, but the songs are fantastic, on par, maybe even better than those in MLP. The theme song is a complete banger first and foremost. I love how Vinny Fallon is timed perfectly to the drums. The Littlest Pet Shop Pet song in the first episode is an absolute earworm. A fantastic introduction to the quality of musical numbers in the show, and a fantastic introduction to the characters. My personal favorite song is probably the Sweet Shop song from the episode Top with Buttercream. In case you didn't know, Kathy Westlock, who voices Buttercream, and Gizmo, also voices Spike, which is cool. I actually remember back in 2022, we were in that era where random cartoon songs got popularized by TikTok, and the algorithm randomly decided it was Guilty Tango's time. And I'm glad it happened because I always found the song to be go kinda hard. It's also always nice when something niche you like gets limelight and other folks get to see how great it is. The show really lacked genuinely bad songs. Hell, even the song that's meant to be bad in universe is an actual bop. I mean, the Biscuits are cursed with peak musical numbers all across the board, so it's no surprise, but still.
Yeah, the girls are cute because they told me so, and they pay my wage, so I rap in the show. I drive this.
Anyways, I would definitely recommend the show. The 2-part premiere is admittedly very mediocre and doesn't really have much rewatchability, but I promise you the show only gets better as it goes on. 4th season has some duds, like the weird insistence on never letting Blythe's friends appear often aside from Young Mi, and even ditching Jasper in the second half. Plus the series finale is pretty substandard, but aside from that, consistently good show overall, and I'd recommend it to everyone. Has some really fun episodes. We get to see Zoe go to Paris, the pet shop being shrunk by some sort of magician creature, and we even get to see Sue gain a self-esteem so low that she becomes a yandere on Stalks Blythe. Fun! Once I rewatch the show in full, I'll make sure to talk more about it. Maybe do a full episode ranking video. That'd be fun. Anyways, thanks for watching this video. Unfortunately, I definitely cannot promise I'll be more active because I'm immensely busy right now, but I'll be sure to upload as often as possible. Hope you enjoyed the video and see you guys next time. Bye now!